Welcome to the City of Florissant Podcast, where we talk anything and everything related to the beautiful City of Florissant.
Hi, I'm Mayor Tim Lowery, and welcome to another edition of the Mayor's Podcast Show. With me today is Corey Williams, who's the Public Information Officer for the United States Small Business Administration. He works out of the Office of Disaster Assistance Field Operations Center West. So thank you again. We've been here before, and you've given us some updates before, so now a couple weeks later, let's do it again. So what's the newest updates?
Well, first off, Mayor Lowery, thank you for having me on the show. It's an honor to be able to represent the citizens of Florissant as well as St. Louis County, Independent City of St. Louis, and St. Charles County, who've been impacted by these devastating floods that occurred July 25th through the 28th. The one thing that I think that's so great is that now we have so many disaster recovery centers open throughout the city, throughout in St. Charles County, as well as St. Louis County. So now, we have 4 disaster recovery centers in St. Louis County alone. We have University City. We have a center also in Hazelwood. We have a center also in Ferguson at the Community Empowerment Center. And then we also have another center at Rankin Tech Center. And then we also have one at the Salvation Army at the off of Arsenal Street. And then the last one I'm thinking about is it's actually in St. Charles County in O'Fallon. Okay. So it's 6 disaster recovery centers now that are open. And with those disaster recovery centers, those are kind of our one-stop shop, for, SBA, for FEMA, to kind of see representatives get the help that they need on that one-on-one assistance. And the good thing is that all these centers are open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then on Saturdays, they're open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
So certainly plenty of opportunities to get to this center and get all the information you need, fill out the paperwork you need, get online and get all this information done, and find out what services that are available to you.
Yes, sir. And that's the great thing, is that we try to regionalize these centers throughout the actual county and through the city to make sure that no one had to go too far, whether they were close to their work or they're close to their home. We want to make sure they had that accessibility. Also, Mayor, we're getting close to the deadline. Right now, the deadline is October 7th, 2022. So we're definitely right around the corner for that. So the one thing we also want to make sure to emphasize is to don't miss out on any kind of benefits that you may have, being whether you were impacted as a homeowner, renter, business owner, or nonprofit. Please take advantage of the programs that are presented, and make sure to register with FEMA first. There's a number of ways to register with FEMA by going to disasterassistance.gov. You can call the 800 number, 800-621-3362. They can download the FEMA mobile app, or now they can visit a disaster recovery center.
Which all of them are easy, and certainly just going to the disaster relief center, it just seems so simple to me. You go in there, you actually sit down with a person, and they're going to explain to you what's the process, what you have to do, and probably even if you're even eligible, correct?
Yes, sir. So that's the one thing. Any questions you may have to complete an application, to put documents that, they can intake documents at that center as well. So anything that's necessary, take advantage of the disaster recovery centers, because they're here as long as the need exists. And we want to make sure we keep these centers open to provide the relief for those that were impacted by these severe flooding.
I guess there's no real statistical information to find out how many people have already applied and how many haven't applied, I guess, because we still know everybody that's been impacted, right?
That's true, and that's why it's so important, even as a business, nonprofits, to make sure to register with FEMA, because we want to make sure we get adequate numbers so we can properly service those that were impacted, So I know it's not so much a requirement for businesses to register with FEMA, but we really, really strongly encourage them to do that. And then the one thing also, that if someone is referred to SBA after receiving that, after registering with FEMA, is very important. I can't kind of emphasize that enough, Mayor, that, if a homeowner or renter receives that referral to the U.S. Small Business Administration's Office of Disaster Assistance, it's so important to complete that application, because again, you're essentially somewhat halting your disaster recovery process by not following all the steps and completing that application. Because if we're unable to approve you for a loan, we're going to refer you right back to FEMA for other needs assistance or any unmet needs. So that's why it's so critical as a homeowner or renter, whenever you receive that referral to the U.S. Small Business Administration, to please complete that application.
So obviously we've already mentioned the deadline's October the 7th, but let's just say that somebody gets in the process and they fill out that everything gets filled out. How long does it take them to get that answer or to get that assistance?
Another great question, Mayor. You know, for homeowners and renters, usually it's about a 10 to 14-day turnaround for the approval of their loan. For our more of our simple, business entities such as our sole proprietorships or maybe a one-person LLC, it's probably in that same range of maybe about 14 to 21 days. The only one that may take a little bit longer is kind of more of the complicated business entities like a C Corp or an S Corp. Those usually take, on average, about 21 to 28 day turnaround. So, but we are starting to see a number of approvals. In fact, we hit over 15 million in approvals just for SBA alone. And then I believe just in total relief with FEMA and SBA, I think we're over $60 million. So there's been a lot of relief that's been granted to St. Louis County, the independent city of St. Louis, as well as St. Charles County.
That's so great to hear that people are definitely getting the assistance, and they just have to get into the process and find out where they stand, whether or not it's SBA, FEMA, but you have to get out into the process in order to have this done.
That's it, Mary. That's the one thing. Register today, don't delay. One of my friends always said, that's kind of the motto. When I was doing Harvey, I had one of my media relations specialists with FEMA. She said, register today, don't delay. Just make sure, do whatever it takes to continue the process. And if you receive that referral to SBA, don't be afraid to complete that application. Again, you're under no obligation to take the loan. But if we're unable to approve you for the loan, again, we don't want to put that undue burden of a loan on someone that they can't take on. So we want to give them that referral back to FEMA. That's why it's so critical to complete that disaster recovery process.
Very good. Once again, Corey, great information. Is there anything else that the residents of our area need to know about?
Well, again, deadline October 7th, 2022. And if someone cannot visit one of the disaster recovery centers, they can apply online by going to disasterloanassistance.sba.gov, or they can call the SBA customer service number, which is 1-800-659-2955. But please register today. Don't delay. Go ahead and register with FEMA by going to 800-621-3362. Visit a disaster recovery center, also disasterassistance.gov, or download the FEMA mobile app. Don't miss out on any critical disaster recovery benefits.
Thank you, Corey, for being here once again, providing all this wonderful information. And people, we got to get out there and get the assistance that they need. And thank you so much for being here and giving us an update. And certainly maybe we'll update prior to you leaving, or the deadline as it gets even closer.
Yes, sir. I look forward to it. And thank you so much for what you do for the city of Florissant. You're just awesome, and I love to be on the podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate you being here. That concludes another edition of the Mayor's Podcast Show. We are Florissant Strong.